Welcome to Crafting Made Simple. Are you looking at that oh so familiar IKEA side table or maybe a storage bin and thinking, if only this had a little something extra?
Happens all the time, right? That desire to make something uniquely yours.
Exactly. So today we're diving into a really fascinating way to transform those functional finds into, well, uniquely personal pieces,
Mhm.
laser engraving.
That's a great technique.
And hey, if you love crafting ideas and tips like this, make sure you sign up for our Crafting Made Simple newsletter. The link is right there in the description for you.
Definitely do that. Lots of good stuff in there.
We've been exploring some fantastic potential for this over at the Paperflow Designs blog, and we're really excited to share some easy and, frankly, seriously cool IKEA items that are just like begging for a personalized touch.
Yeah, some great canvases there.
So our mission today, basically to uncover how you can take these everyday objects and make them truly your own through the power of laser engraving.
IKEA's really nailed that practical, affordable design, haven't they?
Oh, absolutely. Functional, accessible.
And what's interesting is that very simplicity. It becomes this fantastic foundation. Uh, think of these items as like these incredibly versatile blank canvases, just waiting for your individual style.
Okay, let's jump right into some actual ideas then. First up, we're looking at a storage solution that's, well, it's a staple in so many homes. The IKEA Trofast unit.
Ah, the Trofast. Yeah, it's brilliant, isn't it? So modular.
Right. Those bins can hold just about anything.
Anything and everything. Now, think about how laser engraved labels could elevate that, take the functionality up a notch, but also add some real style.
Oh, I love that. It's not just about knowing what's inside, which is useful, of course,
Mm.
but it's about creating this sense of visual order, like a calm feeling,
Exactly. Imagine those bins, but instead of like scribbled labels or sticky notes,
which always fall off.
right, you've got these elegantly engraved words,
Eh,
or even little icons maybe.
Yes. Like for kids' toys, you could have a little engraved car or a teddy bear icon. So cute.
Or for your craft room, maybe an image of yarn or paintbrushes.
It adds this layer of intentionality and honestly a little bit of grown-up calm to spaces that can often feel pretty chaotic.
That visual harmony, as you put it, it really does have a psychological benefit. It's true.
Yeah.
How so?
Well, when things are clearly labeled, beautifully labeled, and they have a designated spot, it just sort of reduces that mental clutter, you know?
Okay, yeah, I get that.
It makes tidying up feel less like a chore, maybe more intuitive. Plus, let's face it, a beautifully engraved label just feels more permanent, more considered than like a marker scrawl.
Absolutely. It really moves beyond just being organized to a form of personalized design. Okay, shifting gears a bit, something maybe a little more celebratory. Let's talk about the IKEA Svalka champagne glasses.
Ah, yes. The Velka glasses. They have that lovely, simple, understated elegance, don't they?
They do.
And what's really captivating about engraving them is how it just transforms something so readily available, so affordable, into a unique keepsake.
Okay, picture this. You're celebrating something big, an anniversary, maybe a graduation.
A milestone. Right, and you're toasting with champagne flutes that have like the date subtly etched on them, or maybe initials.
Wow, that's lovely.
Suddenly, they're not just glasses anymore, are they? They're these tangible reminders of a special moment.
It completely imbues them with narrative, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That simple engraving takes a mass-produced item and makes it deeply personal. It carries the weight of memory, of significance.
Yeah.
It's a way of marking time, really, creating little heirlooms, even from something as simple as a champagne glass.
And the laser lets you get really precise on glass, right?
Absolutely. The precision you can achieve with laser engraving on glass allows for incredibly detailed and, importantly, lasting results. It won't just wash off.
Good point. Okay, our next idea involves practicality again, but with a touch of natural warmth. We're talking about IKEA cork trivet trays.
Cork. I love working with cork. It's such a wondrously tactile material.
It really is.
And that natural texture offers this beautiful contrast when you laser engrave it. What makes these trivets so appealing for personalization is that dual nature you mentioned. They're useful, obviously.
Protect the table.
Right. But they also offer this great surface that's just ripe for decorative enhancement.
So think about giving a set of these as like a housewarming gift. You could engrave the family name, maybe a little welcoming motif.
That's a fantastic idea. So thoughtful, practical, and it's something they'll probably use every single day.
So what kind of designs work best on cork? Does it matter?
It does, yeah.
Yeah.
Because cork has that slightly porous surface, designs with really clean lines and good contrast tend to stand out the best.
Okay.
The laser essentially darkens the engraved areas,
Yeah.
right? So you need to think about how that positive and negative space will play out. Intricate patterns can work beautifully, but sometimes bolder, simpler designs have the most immediate visual impact.
Gotcha. Simpler might be better sometimes. Okay, moving on, we have the IKEA Gladys coasters. Now, on the surface, these are just, standard drink mats.
True. Very functional purpose. Protect the furniture.
But what's intriguing here, according to the Paperflow Designs blog, is how laser engraving can completely redefine their role.
Right. Instead of just protecting your coffee table, they become these little canvases for self-expression, maybe even conversation starters at a party.
Yeah. Imagine a set of coasters, and each one is engraved with a different favorite quote or a funny saying.
Or even abstract geometric patterns.
Exactly. It's such a subtle way to inject personality when you're entertaining, make your guests smile.
Definitely.
Have you seen any surprising design approaches that work well on coasters?
Sometimes the simplest things are the most effective.
Mm.
Think about repeating just a single motif across all the coasters in the set.
Okay.
Or you could create a series where each coaster maybe builds on the last. So they form a larger design when you place them together.
Oh, that's clever. Like a
Mm.
puzzle.
Kind of, yeah. Or you could even engrave miniature versions of famous artworks or like architectural details. The key is to think of them as a set, a collective, as well as just individual pieces.
Really neat idea. Okay, our fifth featured IKEA item from the blog is the Saxborga jar set. The elegant glass jars with the natural cork lids?
Oh yeah, those are lovely. That combination of the clear glass and the natural cork creates a really pleasing aesthetic. Very sort of spa-like sometimes.
It does.
And for anyone who enjoys crafting or just organizing things beautifully, these jars offer this wonderful opportunity to blend utility with visual appeal through engraving.
Okay, so picture these in your bathroom, right? Holding cotton balls, Q-tips, whatever,
Mhm.
but maybe with delicate botanical illustrations engraved right onto the glass.
Oh, nice.
Or maybe in the kitchen, organizing spices, but with beautifully scripted labels engraved on them.
Yeah, it just elevates those everyday routines, doesn't it? Makes the ordinary feel a bit special.
So what about engraving the glass versus the cork lids? Any difference there?
Well, engraving on the glass itself gives you a more permanent and often more visually striking result.
Mm-hmm.
It showcases the contents, obviously,
Yeah.
but adds that decorative element.
Right.
Engraving on the cork lids provides a more subtle, maybe more tactile kind of personalization. You could even do both.
Oh.
Yeah, like a label on the glass and then a small decorative element on the lid, just for an extra layer of detail. It really depends on the overall look you're going for.
Cool. Okay, and as a bonus, we also saw that IKEA mirrors were mentioned, which feels a bit unexpected maybe, but also a fantastic candidate for laser engraving.
This one really opens up some fascinating possibilities, I think. Because a mirror isn't just functional, is it? It reflects our image, yes, but also our space.
True.
So adding a subtle laser engraved design can introduce this element of artistry and personal reflection. Quite literally.
Huh, yeah. Imagine a delicate border etched around the edge, or maybe a meaningful quote just subtly placed in a corner somewhere.
It's a way to integrate your personality into your decor, but in a really sophisticated, perhaps unexpected way.
Are there special things to think about when you're engraving on glass that big, like a mirror?
Definitely.
Hmm.
With larger glass surfaces, even the slightest imperfection in the engraving process, it can become much more noticeable. So it's crucial to have your laser settings really precisely calibrated
Okay.
and to work with clean, stable materials, of course. Also, consider the scale of your design relative to the mirror size. A tiny, intricate design might get lost on a huge mirror,
Right.
while something overly bold might just overwhelm a smaller one. Balance is key.
Makes sense. Now, for anyone listening who's feeling inspired to try this, the Paperflow Designs blog offers some really useful insights into the actual laser engraving process itself. It's not just about the ideas.
Yes, absolutely. While the creative possibilities are vast, you do need to understand the technical side. Laser engraving relies on precision,
Right.
and choosing the correct power settings on your laser cutting machine is just critical for getting the effect you want on these different IKEA materials.
So too little power, you get nothing.
Pretty much, yeah. You won't get a visible mark. But too much power, and you risk burning, scorching, or even damaging the material. It's a fine line sometimes.
And they really stress the importance of testing your designs first, right, on scrap material.
Oh, always. Always, always test. It's so much better to experiment and fine-tune your settings on a piece of scrap before you commit to your actual final IKEA piece.
Makes total sense.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Because every material reacts differently to the laser. Things like density, thickness, even the finish on the IKEA item. It
Wow.
all influences the outcome. Testing lets you see exactly how the laser interacts with that specific material you're working with. Then you can make adjustments.
Which leads us nicely into some crucial do's and don'ts. One key takeaway from the blog seems to be really understanding the properties of the specific IKEA material you're engraving.
Exactly. That's fundamental. For instance, as the blog points out, bamboo, which you find in quite a few IKEA items, it tends to engrave very dark and quite quickly too.
Okay, good to know.
Knowing that lets you adjust your laser settings, maybe increase the speed or lower the power to prevent excessive burning
Yeah.
and get a much cleaner, more controlled result.
So understanding those material nuances is really key to successful laser engraving with IKEA stuff. It's about being informed about what you're working with.
It really is. It's that blend, isn't it?
Yeah.
Creative vision on one hand and technical understanding on the other. Taking that little bit of time to learn about your materials and your equipment. It will ultimately lead to much better and, frankly, more satisfying results. Less frustration.
For sure. Okay, so just to recap quickly, we've explored some really exciting possibilities for personalizing those IKEA favorites with laser engraving.
Yeah.
We talked about the super versatile Trofast units,
The
the
label.
celebratory Esvelka champagne glasses,
Are those special moments?
the warm and tactile cork trivet trays,
Great for gifts.
the surprisingly expressive Gladys coasters,
Little art pieces.
and the beautifully practical Sex border jar set.
Combining glass and cork.
Plus, that bonus idea, the reflective potential of IKEA mirrors. It really does seem like the possibilities are, well, pretty much endless. Just depends on your imagination.
Totally. Whether you're a hobbyist just looking to add some unique touches to your own home, or maybe you're even exploring the potential for creating personalized gifts or products to actually sell, IKEA offers a fantastic and, let's be honest, affordable starting point.
Definitely. Now, if you have any questions about any of this, or maybe you want to share your own IKEA engraving ideas, we'd love to hear them. Head over to the Paperflow Designs blog, paperflowdesigns.com, and leave a comment there.
Yeah, join the conversation.
You'll also find more in-depth articles there, things like tips on profitable crafts you can make, info on choosing the right laser cutting machines if you're thinking about taking your crafting further.
Good resources there.
And of course, for all the links to the specific IKEA supplies we've talked about today, be sure to check out the podcast notes right here, or you can visit paperflowdesigns.com as well. And one last reminder, don't forget to sign up for our Crafting Made Simple newsletter for more inspiration and tutorials. The link's in the description.
And, this whole conversation brings up a really interesting point for you listening right now. How could you maybe leverage this idea, this personalization, through laser engraving? Could you see yourself transforming these everyday items into unique creations, maybe just for your own enjoyment, or perhaps even as a way to, generate some extra income? What ordinary object might you look at differently now, sort of imagining the possibilities of adding that personalized touch? Food for thought.